Hi guys, I'm Eris from Cognito Coding, and I just wanted to introduce you to a new game that I've started to play called The Farmer Was Replaced, and I'm going to do some YouTube tutorials on the game because I think it's a really good way that we can learn to code by solving puzzles. Now the concept of the game is this drone here has replaced the farmer, and we need to program the drone to do the harvesting of the crops. As we harvest the crops, the piggy bank gets filled up, which unlocks more crops for us to harvest, more ground to harvest on, and our farm expands. And we also get additional pieces of code to use as we go. So if we click on start, you'll see each time we come to a new piece, we get an information page. And they're also accessible through the icon at the top right. And then we have our code box, which I'm just going to move over slightly. And then we have our unlock tree, which is here. And our first unlock that we're aiming for is to get 5 hays. So as it says, we start off with our first program, and it gives us 2 things that we can use. We can either use a harvest or a do flip. Now, because we know we need to get our crops, it makes sense that we do a harvest. And I'm just using Control-C to copy and then Control-V to paste my commands here. Just tidy that up a bit. Just because you don't have to painfully watch me type then. Great, so as you saw, the drone went down, harvested me a crop, and I've now got 1 hay. I need 5. So I've got a couple of choices here. I can just press play a few more times, or I can take my harvest and I can paste that a few more times, and then just press play once, and it will run through that. And you'll find that a lot with code, that sometimes there's 2 ways to solve a problem. Anyway, we're up to 5, so we can now go to our unlock window, and we're going to unlock this while. And this opens a loop. Let's just shut that one down. Let's move that to the side. And you can see there's our bit of code that we had. But now we're going to use this while condition, and we're going to use a while true condition. So what we want to say is while true, let me just copy that over. I'm now going to paste that here and press return. And you'll see automatically what it does for me is it indents that first harvest, and I've just deleted the other 2 because we don't need them now. So if I play, you can see that now it's automatically harvesting for me. Right, let's go and see what else that we need to unlock. Leave that harvesting. So 50 hay will unlock us some hats, but actually 20, which we've got, will unlock us some speed. So let's unlock the speed. Right. So we now have a speed upgrade, but we've got a slight problem. You can see that our drone is going so quickly now, it's cutting the hay before it's actually grown, so we're not getting any harvest. So let's just stop that. Now we could use here an old code that we've already had offered to us once before, which was do flip. That was one of the first pieces of code that was on that starting choice with harvest. So we could play that, and yep, that allows us to harvest now, because the flip gives us time for the grass to grow to hay. But also they suggest another one here, which is if can harvest. So what we're going to do is we'll copy that code from here, and we're just going to paste that in there. We then need to indent our harvest, because all of these are inside each other, and we don't need the do flip. So I'm just going to put a hashtag there in case I need that command later. So let's see how this works. So now it's a bit quicker than doing the flip, but what's happening is as soon as we can harvest, we harvest, but it's giving time for the crops to grow. So I remember hats were up at 50, so let's go back to our unlock tree, and you can see that we can get some hats. And so let's just close that one. move this one across. And I want to have, I'm going to change the colour of my hats between my harvests. So I'm going to have my do harvest, and there I'm just going to change hat to purple. And then after my harvest, I'm going to have a green hat. But there we go, place that one in there. And I'm just going to record. So just remember where I'm copying and pasting. It's just Control C to copy and Control V to paste. Just saves a bit of time when putting the code in. So we're just going to paste there. Yep, that's good. So it's thrown the hay out, and now you can see that the hat colour is also changing. But you also notice it's doing a bit slower now because it's doing more. Right, what were our next bits in our unlock tree? So we've got hats, we've got tile. We can't go up speed anymore now until we get wood. We need 300 to increase the yield of grass. Let's look on the next line down. So here we go, 30. So with 30 grass we can unlock. So now let's have a look at what we've got. Let's close that one about hats and see what we have here. Right, so now we're going to add a move north in here. So that means we're going to move up our grass. So let's just stop, get that move north control, and we're going to add that into there. So we're saying move north, and then we're back to the if can harvest. So there we go, look at that. So now what's happening is we're moving north and we are harvesting, moving up, harvest, moving up, harvest. Perfect. So we've got 74 pieces of hay. Let's go and have a look back in our unlock tree. So bushes, the bushes give us wood. Okay, so we've got that, so let's start to get ourselves some bushes. Put that one down. What does it say? It says bushes, grass grows automatically, so we don't need to plant it. But we've now got a new command where we can plant bushes. And bushes will give us wood. So I'm just going to stop here. And I'm going to think, right, so on here, I need to harvest my grass first. And then, after that, I'm going to plant my bush. So I'm just going to paste that command in now. And let that run. So we're, yep, nice. So, as you can see, we can't harvest yet. Now we can. But there's a problem. So we're planting our bushes. But our number of hays is not increasing, and we still need hay. So we need to think of a way around this. The way to solve this problem is here, where it tells us that grass grows automatically, so we don't need to plant it. So I think if we harvest our bush, then, so I'm going to put an earlier harvest in here. So I'm going to harvest my bush here. And then I'm going to change hats, and then I'm going to harvest again. And in this space, I've got no plants, so that means the grass will grow automatically. And I know I have to have a change hats there because I can't harvest grass straight away. So that's why I've kept my change of hat there as a small time thing. So now I'm saying if harvest the bush, change my hat, let the grass grow, harvest the hay, then plant the bush, then change my hat back. So let's just see if that works. Yep, my grass is now growing and I'm harvesting. So now I'm managing to harvest hay and I'm harvesting wood at the same time. Great. So 20 wood. Something needed 20 wood. I think it was the next speed. Yeah. So let's unlock the next speed. So we've got this next speed unlocked, but have we got any yeah, we've got a few problems again, because now we're not harvesting our grass again because it's too quick. So remember our do flip that I saved earlier? I'm going to take that now, Control X to cut from down there, And after I've changed my hat, I'm going to do a flip. So I'm going to put that into there. And also remove that hashtag so that bit of text comes live. So now I'm changing hats, I'm doing a flip, and then I'm going to harvest my hay. So let's try that out. Nice, and it harvests. Yep, now everything's collecting again. I'm getting wood and hay again. Right, let's have a look, see what else we can unlock. So we can expand. We've got bushes. And we can't yet unlock the carrots. We can expand. So let's expand. Now, this seems like a perfect spot to leave for next episode. So, because during the next episode, we're going to have to learn about how we move across here. And here it's got these little things where we can add in ranges. And we can do a range and then move, and that's what we're going to look at next time. So next episode, we will look at ranges, and hopefully we will get bigger farm, and also we'll unlock those carrots and some more controls. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Any problems, just write them in the comments below, and I'll get back to you.